A new report has put a number on the economic disparities Black Americans face. The report by McKinsey and Company found 19% of Black families in the U.S. have a negative net worth. The research also reveals a wage gap in the billions and a revenue gap for Black-owned businesses of more than $1 trillion. So for more on this, we want to bring in Shelley Stewart III. He's a partner at McKinsey and Company, where he leads the Institute for Black Economic Mobility, and he is one of the authors of this report. Thank you so much for joining us, Shelley. It's a really good snapshot of where we are now. I said at the top of the show that, Juneteenth being a national holiday is great, but there's still a whole lot of other stuff that we need to do. So let's start with this negative net worth. How do so many Black families have a negative net worth? What is driving this?
Absolutely, and thank you very much for having me and for your coverage in general of this Juneteenth celebration and reflection. The reality of it is there's a certain cost to live, right? There's a cost to have a home. There's a cost to provide your family with food and with health care. And when you have low wages, and you identified it earlier, there's a $220 billion wage gap in this country between Black Americans and white Americans. When you don't have big inheritance, there's a $200 billion annual inheritance discrepancy every year that flows or doesn't flow to Black Americans. You got to borrow. And when you borrow and you don't have enough income to pay that down over time, you end up with negative net worth, and that disproportionately impacts Black Americans.
Your report also found there's a $220 billion wage gap annually for Black workers. Which jobs or fields have the biggest disparities? And my sense is that this is historical, right? I mean, you hear oftentimes the narrative is, look how far we've come. And, we elected a Black president, and we have, CEOs that are Black and brown. But when you look at the numbers from your report, it actually shows that things are, in some ways, economically at least, getting worse.
Yeah, Vlad, your point is spot on. And we took a holistic look at the Black experience through the different roles and found that disparity shows up everywhere. You mentioned the $220 billion wage gap. That's both a lack or underrepresentation in a number of different occupations, and then also lower pay within an occupation. In terms of some of the different occupations that I would highlight, we need more Black lawyers, Black teachers, and Black doctors. Significant portion of the gap can be closed in just those three professions. And by the way, it's not just about the wages that flow from that. There's lots of downstream implications for the way students experience a classroom, the way patients experience medicine, and the way individuals experience the criminal justice system. So we need more folks, more Black folks in those professions.
You wrote that there's a $1.6 trillion revenue gap between Black-owned and non-Black-owned businesses, and that only 2% of private businesses with more than one employee in the U.S. are Black-owned. Explain how you came to these numbers and what they mean.
Yeah, that was, I think, a particularly surprising finding. I mean, we expected it to be lower than our share of the population, but 2%, I think, was surprising for everyone. So what this means is, if you look across sectors, there are too few Black businesses, and the businesses that operate are smaller than they should be. There's huge opportunities in wholesale distribution and in manufacturing and in professional services. And this is important not only because it creates wealth for the owners of these businesses, but we also know that businesses that are owned by Black Americans are more likely to employ Black Americans, and so it has downstream implications for workers as well. If things were at parity, we'd have another 600,000 Black-owned businesses generating a $1.6 trillion in additional revenue that gets fed back into the communities where Black Americans live.
The research also shows many Black neighborhoods are consumer deserts. Explain what that means.
Yeah, so we looked to try to understand the consumer experience, and we looked through the lens of spend, access, and quality. And on this access point, we were really surprised to see how many deserts exist for Black consumers, meaning insufficient access to the goods and services. So we found that 8 million Black Americans, for example, live in food deserts, significantly more likely to live in a healthcare desert, a broadband desert, an affordable housing desert. And so it has implications for the quality of life of individuals and it also represents missed commercial opportunity for the private sector.
So we have this snapshot, and we're just giving people sort of nuggets because it's a very sort of thorough examination. So the next step is, how do we fix this? And I know it's a really big question, but how do you fix these disparities?
Yeah, let me give you a few places that I would start. One, we should start with the wage gap. We have got to reevaluate our view of diversity in the workplace, and really starts at the front end with recruiting, progression, pay equity. So this is well within our control right now to address that disparity. If I move to the business ownership bucket, there's a number of things we can do. We have to ensure that our lending institutions are addressing any bias in their processes, but even more than that, being deliberate about getting capital to these entrepreneurs. Only 1% of venture capital funding today, for example, goes to Black Americans. We have to work and address that. And then lastly, I would say the public sector also has a role to play. We have to find a way to invest in the education of our young people that are living in lower income communities. Our data found that if you are in a high concentration Black school, that's 70% or more, you receive $1,800 less in per pupil funding than a majority or highly concentrated white school. We can make a different set of choices and invest in our young people.
Hey, Shelley, I wanted to ask you one more question about the wage gap conversation. And you talked about how we needed more, teachers and more lawyers and more doctors that were African American. I'm wondering, when you looked even within those professions, did you see wage gaps even within those professions? Meaning, Black doctors don't make the same as white doctors and so on and so forth. Because I thought those particular professions are the kind of professions that launch you into middle class or upper middle class. And if there's even a wage gap in there, it makes that struggle even harder. But I don't know if that's true. Did you guys find that?
No, you are spot on. And traditionally or historically, those professions were actually the things that initially created a Black middle class, which is the irony in the fact that we're still hovering around 3 to 5% in all those professions when we should be closer to 13. And in those occupations, we have identified a wage gap. And so we have to address both the representation issue, but also the pay equity issue in those fields.
So, Shelley, this leads me...
I think that's a really good point to bring up because, often organizations will say, well, we have X percentage of African American fill in the blank. But if people are not getting paid the same or they're not getting the same opportunities to elevate themselves within that career, then it's a half a step forward, but it's not a full step. Sorry, Vlad, cut you off.
No, I was going to jump on to your question, Anne-Marie, and ask Shelley about what you said, Shelley, which was interesting, the creation of the Black middle class and what jobs led to that creation. And when you look at the middle class in America post-World War II, a lot of those same jobs were also done by white Americans. But in the generation since World War II into the one that we are here in now, those folks who were solidly middle class, who came from the agrarian classes pre-World War II and were able to vault into the middle class have then subsequently, those white Americans, vaunted into the upper middle classes or even the upper classes. And yet we've not seen the same jump of Black Americans from that middle class post-World War II to the same for their white counterparts. What did you find with regards to that? That time, why it hasn't worked out in the same way that it has for white Americans? Because it goes to the question, again, that I asked earlier, which is when people say, look how far we've come. Sure, there were perhaps no CEOs of Fortune 500 companies in 1945. Shelley, I don't know that there were any Black partners at McKinsey in 1945. But that doesn't necessarily mean collectively that the Black and brown people have risen to the same levels as their white counterparts.
I think you're absolutely right, Vlad. And I think you picked up on the income point. I think the big point on the wealth creation and the middle class really has to do with the creation through home ownership and through rising home appreciations that happened post-World War II. And it's been well documented and well covered that exclusionary lending practices and explicit redlining prevented Black Americans from participating in that creation of a robust and healthy middle class. And many of those things have calcified, and they have knock-on effects today. As I mentioned earlier, every year $300 billion of wealth flows to Americans. There's a disparity of $300 billion in the wealth that flows to Americans that Black folks just aren't getting, that they should be getting given their share of the population. It's very, very hard to make up for the magnitude of that wealth that's being transferred every year.
So Shelley, and Anne-Marie, you know this because we've talked about this on this broadcast. Again, it's why you get pushback from people when we try to do reports or we talk about redlining, right? And people say, well, that was then. It's not like that now. You can buy a house wherever you want in America. It's a free country. But Shelley, that point is what you just said is exactly what this is all about, right? The fact that your grandfather or my grandfather or Anne-Marie's grandfather could not buy, they weren't here in this country at the time, but I'm making the point that if they were here in 1945 and they wanted to buy a house in a nice part of Chicago and they couldn't, then what you're talking about ultimately led to the point where we are right now.
I think that's right, Vlad. I mean, the analogy is a 100-yard foot race, and everyone gets to start at the same time, but some folks are starting 30 yards ahead. And so I think it's not realistic and frankly a bit intellectually dishonest to try to ignore the fact that Black Americans were not able to participate until much more recently. And we have to grapple with that and the implications of that, but we can't ignore it.
Such a fascinating study. Shelley, thank you very, very much for sharing with us. And I applaud also McKinsey and Company for creating the group that you head. It's really important, and I hope to see more of the reporting that you all do, because I think it's just absolutely fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for covering it.